Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini. He helps me in the craft room and generally creates havoc. And I have another fun fold card for you today. This one I discovered through searching, and it's one that was done over a year ago by a lady by the name of Terry Gaines. And if you haven't watched her, she's a very talented stamper, Stampin' Up person. And I just fell in love with this design. Now it vexed me some, I'll tell you. So I want to show you how to make it. And I have a version of it here that I'm not real crazy about. So but it'll give you an idea of what we're going to make. And then I'll show you exactly how to make it so that it comes out perfectly. So let's just get started. Okay, here is my version of the card. And the way it works is that the card is almost like a gatefold card. And you can see that around here. But then this panel closes in and this panel closes over the top of it. Now, when I did it, I failed to recognize that there was one cut line that I missed. So this doesn't perfectly line up with this. This should be a little bit further over this way. But I'm going to make it again and show you precisely how to do it. And I decided that on this version, while it came out fun and I kind of like it, it would be much better with a contrasting base. So I have cut a base on this out of Petal Pink. So here is my card. And this didn't come out exactly right. You can see that this is a little too far over, and I've got this little edge here. And it came as a result of not quite cutting this card right to begin with. And so I'm going to show you by cutting a card, and I'm going to do it in Petal Pink because I decided that it looked much better with contrasting back. So we're going to cut this at 5.5 inches. Okay, and then we are going to score this piece at 1 5/8 and 3 1/4. Now, I'm going to turn this over and do the same thing on the other side. 1 5/8 Oh, wait, before I do that, this is how I got into trouble to begin with. This paper needs to be cut at 10 3/4. So we have to have 1/4 of an inch come off, and since I have only scored one side, I can do that. Just cut this piece off on this side. Then once we do that, then we can score from this other side, and we should have the right dimensions. So scored at 1 5/8 and 3 1/4. So we've done that on both sides. And I think you might be able to see those score lines. I'm not positive, but they should be exactly the same on both sides. All right, so what we're going to do then is burnish this. Let's see if I got this right. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so we're going to fold this end in, and I'm going to burnish that. And burnish it really well and right at the beginning, because you will never have the opportunity that you have right now to burnish these fold lines. Because as you start adding layers, if you want to go in and re-burnish it later, it's pretty tough. Okay, So we've got that one done. Then this one also folds in, and you just want to make sure your edges are lined up. So, and what this is going to do is make a space in the middle there that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is the normal size of a card. So now this fold is like this, so this fold comes back against itself and should meet up right along that edge. And so we'll burnish that one also, and then fold this one back on itself and burnish that one. And I'm left with this little gap in the middle, and that is exactly the way it should look. So it's almost like a little gatefold card at this point. But again, now's the time to burnish, and burnish hard if you want this thing to pretty much close. Okay, so there we have that. Now these two pieces I've already put together. This was panel 2. So the base is 5 1/2 by 10 3/4, and the scoring, and I didn't get it all written down, panel scoring is 1 5/8 by, pardon me, and 3 1/4 from either end. Okay, then panel 1, which is going to go on this side, is cut 3 inches by 5 inches, and that's going to sit on this side. And then panel 1A, the DSP, is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and that's going to sit there. Then this panel, the white panel, is cut 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, and the DSP is cut 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. Then these two are adhered together, and these two are adhered together. So I'll just go ahead and put this piece on. There we go. All right. Now then, this piece is going to go on here, and it's good to have about the same margin top and bottom and along the side, which would put it right about there. Now the easiest way to do that is to put, if I turn this over and put this like this, then I'm going to put a bead of glue right along this edge right there, and I'm going to put another bead of glue right along this edge over here. Okay, then we'll put this piece into place, and this could be done any number of ways. Instead of using DSP, I think in Terry's version of the card, she did a darker color underneath and then did a see-through die cut or embossing folder or something like that over the top, and it was real pretty. All right, so I'm going to put this down here, and we're going to get that on here with similar borders top and bottom and along the side. There we go. All right, there we have it. All right, now then this panel, what we want to do is also have this have roughly a similar kind of border, but we want this to be, since that's going to be the main thing that opens the card, we're going to put some dimensionals on this. But I think before I put dimensionals on, I do want to do my decorating on this panel. So out of that Irresistible paper, I have fussy cut some of these flowers out and some leaves from one of the papers that had a little bit of greenery on it. Okay, so on this panel, what we're going to do is take one of these larger flowers, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of it towards the center, because I want to tuck other flowers around it, and I want to tuck greenery. So I don't want that to be to get in the way. And the way these flowers lay, now you could do anything that had die cut or punched out flowers, anything you'd like. This might be kind of a fun one for the new ephemera packs. Okay, so if I put this one right in here like this, then I can add 2 more of these littler flowers to this. Okay, now I'm going to put all of these flowers on dimensionals. Now then, this flower I think I'm going to tuck right over here. And I don't mind that it comes off the edge of the card, because that's going to cross over and be on the inside of the card. And then this little one I'm going to tuck right in here. All right, now I've got several of these leaves, some of which I'd like to put so that they're more flat on the card, and some I want to raise up as though on dimensionals. So on these, I'll be cutting off a little bit of this, and I'm going to use my dot runner on the back of this one to get some snail down. And this one I'm going to lay flat on the card right down in here. Just tuck it in here so we can just see the edge of it. There we go. All right. Now on one of these others, some mini dimensionals on the back of the... All right, there we go. Now then, I can put this panel on here, and I'm going to want this to have a similar margin to this side. So I'm going to want to put it right about there. So I can just scoot this over so that I can see right where I'd want to put my dimensionals. So I'm going to just lay a dimensional right here and one right here at the bottom. And then I'm going to add 2 more in between. So one about there and another right about there. Now I am going to maybe add 2 more dimensionals in between on this side, here and here, and then I'm going to pull all of those papers . I thought this was such a cute little card, and I've really not seen anything quite like it before. Okay, so I'm going to lay this one down because I want to get this kind of centered on this other card over here. So I'm going to need to put that down right about there. There we go. So this is a much better version of my original take on the card. Okay, so dimensional is kind of sticking out there, and I'm just going to push it in just a little bit. All right, so here we have the basis of our card. Now we have this panel to put in the middle on this side, so we'll add some adhesive there. And lay this card down centered on this middle panel. And put it in place. And then I saved a few cards, a few of these flowers to lay on the inside of this. And so I'm going to put one of these larger flowers here. And then I took this little piece that I cut from a corner, and I thought, never wanting to waste anything, that I might be able to just take this and stick it as though it were a second flower behind it, just like that, right in there. Then we have a few little leaves to put in, and I'm going to snip this down, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of these leaves. I'm going to pinch off another little piece of that, and maybe they'd be better off coming away here at the side. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. And that is the project. Now, on the original card that I did with the white background, and I could see that the white background actually is pretty attractive too, but I might choose different paper or a different method for doing that. And I used these little dots that were in petal pink. And I thought on this one I'd just use plain old rhinestones. They always give everything such a nice kick. So I'm going to put some of the larger rhinestones in the centers of 3 of these flowers on this panel. And then maybe one over here, and then some different sized ones, maybe up here in the corner, and another down here in this corner. And there we have our fun fold card. Isn't that neat? I had never seen this one before, and I was really taken with it, but I tell you, it threw me with that 1/4 of an inch off the 11-inch piece. Really threw me. But there we go. There's the original misdone version by me. And then this one that we did on the petal pink. And I think it's such a pretty card. Now this doesn't have a tag on it, and I suppose we could take a minute and put a tag on this. So what I have is this little piece of scrap on my desk, and it is 1 3/4 inches, and I've got this little just a note. What I thought I'd do is I have some pretty peacock here. Let me just get a piece of scratch paper. And if I put some pretty peacock ink on this and then stamp it off once and then just put it right here on the bottom of this, it kind of matches that color. I think it's pretty good. So let me trim this down, and this just a note tag will fit right in here, just hanging off a hair, and maybe we could even put that up on a dimensional. This stamp is from Go To Greetings, which is going away, by the way, so if you can still grab one, you should. It's got great greetings in it. All right, so here we go. I've got my just a note, and we're going to stick it right here on the top, maybe tucked under that leaf and hanging off just a little bit. Just a note. There we go. All right. So now we've got a sentiment on there as well. Go To Greetings, and stamped off, pretty peacock, stamped off once. And there is our card. Isn't that pretty? It just stands up and displays so nicely, just like that. And it's just a little bit different than some that I've seen out there. Now this one might cost a little more to get in the post, because it's got a lot of dimension, lots of places that stand up. But I think it's worth it. It's just a gorgeous card, and if you could hand deliver it, it would be perfect. And like I said, this would be very interesting, I think, if you had an embossed piece, just a piece of white that's embossed over here. Anyway, there we go. That is my project. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. It's towards the end of April. We're about to enter May. I can't believe that 2024 has gone by this fast. We're getting ready to put out the new catalog, and like I said, I'm waiting for my box from Stampin' Up! And I'll be mailing out catalogs to my customers. And so that's it for me. I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!